Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Gold West 2nd Edition. Gold West 2nd Edition is a game published by Trick or Treat Studios, this version only, designed by J. Alex Kevern with art by Vincent Dutrait, in case you couldn't tell by the box. Plays 2 to 4 players, ages 14 plus, 45 to 60 minutes, and I believe all that's accurate, except for maybe the age. I believe my daughter can play this, and she's not 14. But effectively what you're doing in this game, let's look in the rule book, see if there's any theme. I haven't done that for a minute. In Gold West, players compete as prospectors, building their mining empires while vying over the precious metals of the frontier. In a delicate balance of resource management and area control, players must plan building strategies while carefully managing their supply tracks. So it doesn't really talk about the game, but you're prospectors, you're mining in the West. You know, Gold Rush. 49ers, football team, you got it. But effectively what you're doing in this game is it's a cool resource management game where you have like this Mancala style track where you're going to have these different resources in these 3 different hubs. And as you pull out of a hub, you're going to drop a piece off in every hub above it. Whatever gets all the way to the top of the resources that you can use. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to ship metals. You're trying to build different buildings in Boomtown. You're trying to invest in certain investments that use metals. And then you're going to use wood and or stone to either build a settlement, a building or a settlement to kind of get resources and build up some area control on one of the 4 different terrain types. That's effectively the game. There is an expansion that uses water. I haven't played that. It doesn't seem that interesting, so I probably won't. But it's in there. If you want to see how all this plays, except for the water, you can click the link in the video description, and I'll play through a few rounds, and I'll show you everything that the game does. If you don't care about that, stick around here, and we'll take a look at the components. Alright, so let's look at the components for Gold West. First off, this is the 2nd edition, and that box is Vincent Dutrait, and that is amazing. I love the art. The old edition was like black and boring, but man, look at that. It's amazing. Alright, now let's look at the rest of this. Here's the board. It looks like a deed, like old property, which I kind of dig. It's a lot of white space, but I don't really care. Here's a shipment track. That looks pretty slick. I love these little pieces here. The carriages, they're really cool. These are just cardboard chits with numbers on them. Nothing too great there, but I like that you're shipping, going over some bridges and stuff. Down here's the wanted track. Whoever has the most hints in there loses some stuff. Here's the meat of the game. You're going to be using this board, flipping tiles over. The tiles are pretty nice. Not super thick, but also not, piddly. The investment cards, you can see those over here. Easy to see, easy to read. No real issues there. Boomtown, random. That's pretty cool as well. Different ways to score extra points at the end of the game. The player board is pretty nice too. Place to store your tents and your influence markers. One thing I didn't show on the game is you can build a settlement, which you basically take one of these and you put it on that like that. All it does is let you move. When you get one of these, you're going to move it an extra space to help you in the little deal. But it tells you what to do on your turn. Activate supply, use metals, build or loot. Pretty simple. This track is really cool here too. Kind of Mancala style. These are all the goods. They're just wooden bits of different colors, which I'm a fan of. So, yeah. So those are the components for Gold West 1849 2nd edition. There's also some water tokens. I didn't get those out, but they're wood and they look like water. So there you go. So that's enough of this. Let's talk about what we think about the game. All right, so that was Gold West. Now, this is the 2nd edition, like I said. The 1st edition is from Tasty Minstrel, I believe. But this is the 2nd one from Trick or Treat. I know the art on the box is different. Like, this box is fantastic. It's Vincent Dutrait. There's not a lot of other art in the game, so don't get your hopes up with this box that the rest of the board's going to look like that. You saw it in the components that's what you see. It's a lot of single color stuff. But I can't compare this to the 1st edition because I haven't played that one. I've only played this one. But from some stuff I've watched, they seem pretty similar. So whether you have 1st or 2nd, I think my thoughts will carry over across the two. So this is a really fun game. I am interested in Mancala style mechanisms. Five Tribes. We have a game called the Humboldt's Great Voyage. We have there's another Mancala game, Trajan. The big dog. And this kind of does that thing in a simpler way. In those games, you're actually moving around in a circle or like a rondel. In this one, you're just moving up a track. But you're trying to manage, when you get resources, you have to put them all into a hub. And then you're trying to manage, do I want to get points? They sit there longer. It's harder for me to get them out. Or do I want to just put them at the top so I have access to them immediately? And that's the rub. That's the majority of the game, is how you want to manage your resources. And then you're trying to do a little bit of area control on the board with your buildings. I mean, not that big a deal. You can do that if you want to. But you're also trying to have the most of the different terrain types, because those are big points. So you're trying to juggle those three different things in this game to try to have the most points. It's a ton of fun. It's pretty simple. It's a light to medium game. It's not that difficult. If you've never played Mancala, which we did play this with someone who's not familiar with Mancala, that resource track piece can be a little tricky. Just to having to pick one up and then drop one off every time, that can be a little confusing if you've never played that. But if you're familiar with Mancala, any of those other games I mentioned, you'll have no issue with this one. And I think this is a fun game. It's not one that I want to play all the time, and I feel like after I've played it a few times, I've probably seen enough of it that I don't need to come back to it for a while. But I like the theme. I like the mining theme. I like the resource management flow. I love converting resources into contracts and fulfilling those contracts. Everything this game does are things that I enjoy. So this game is perfect for me. That doesn't mean that I love it as much as some other games, but it does all those things that I enjoy, which makes me want to play this game. So there we go. I guess if you want to play it, that means it's a good game, right? So I'm going to give this a BGM Accept the Seal. It's going to get a 7.5 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.75 out of 5 wrenches on an arbitrary wrench scale. That means absolutely nothing. But when I think of the games that we enjoy, and that is what I'm going to do. So that is Gold West from Trigger Feet Studios. I'm Jason with the Boardgame Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.